Hey friends, welcome to episode number 73 of It'll Be Fine. I'm your friend, your pal Kelly Zemnickas, and that there behind me is the first $20 I ever made doing comedy. That was the first time I got paid, and I framed it. The host of the show said to me, You're a working comic now. You should buy food. but but it's there. It is there. And right beside it is a little thing called Air from New York City. We are on our way today to New York City for today's food and comedy chat with the very funny and very Canadian Adam Muller. Adam is now based in New York City. He's been there for a decent bit of time, and he's a fabulous comic who I've gotten to know on the Zoom comedy scene. And we're going to be talking today about just comedy as it is, as it was, and what we like to eat before and after a show. This is a good little after hours chat between comics. I really dig it, and I'm really glad you are here today for this one. And on today's show, we are offering some love, offering some attention to the Terry Fox Foundation. Also, another fabulous Canadian. In Terry's memory, the foundation is carrying on and raising money for cancer research. So if you can help them, just look down into the show description and give them a hand if you can. So guys, you've got Kelly, you've got Adam, you've got two Canadians. There's 20 Canadian bucks there. We're gonna go buy a pretzel. It's gonna be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Have you been has there been one dish in particular you have just had way too much of over the past 6-7 months?
One.
There been one thing?
No, it's been a lot of variety.
Oh, that's good.
There's not like one thing where I'm like, oh, like there's probably stuff I've had too much of, but it's all the good, like unhealthy stuff. So I'm not sick of it. I just shouldn't have how many times should you have burgers and fries in any given 6-month period kind of thing. But I'm not tired of it because I like it.
Yeah, I dated a guy once. We met at the diner I worked at. So he was a customer of mine, and he always ordered burgers and fries. And I thought, oh, this is just his thing he has now and then. But that man only ate meat and potato. Like he didn't even put ketchup on the burger.
Yeah. I do have a lot of vegetables. It's pretty balanced. I do miss diners though.
Oh yeah. Oh, me too.
Or even it was late last night and I was at an outdoor show and everyone was hungry.
Yeah.
And I was in the old days, you would have just gone to a diner and had scrambled eggs and bacon or something, at 2 a.m. But you can't. Yeah. It's terrible.
I don't know if you, actually, I'm going to ask you this. As a Canadian, what part of Canada are you from? I don't actually know.
I went to high school in Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Vesta Lunch? Do you know what Vesta Lunch is? So Vesta Lunch is this diner not too far from Casa Loma. So it's the part of the city. This little tiny greasy spoon, and you pretty much go there once, and you have your cholesterol intake just set for the next 10 years. Easily.
Those are good meals.
But I think now that indoor dining has been a thing here for the past couple months, I believe they're still doing the 24-hour thing. But
that's nice.
I
don't know what the logic. I don't know what the logic is. Do they think that having it closed for at least a certain amount of time in a row, if there was virus inside, it would die or something?
I guess it's for deep cleaning.
Yeah, I don't know. Because how long does it take to deep clean? It shouldn't take 12 hours. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Or it's to just limit the number of people that do stuff.
Exactly. Because stuff happens in a diner.
Well.
I've never done that. Yeah, I've not done anything.
Well, I think of the math behind a virus. This isn't about food, I suppose, but it's about the number of interactions that occur between people. Yeah. So if you limit, you want to have the economy open, you won't want businesses to go under, but you need to limit just the aggregate interactions.
Yeah.
So stuff that not that many people take advantage. The thing is, if you're closing a diner from say 10 p.m. to 6 in the morning, how many interactions do you actually prevent?
The whole vibe of like doing jokes and going for eats afterwards, that is all gone. You know, like as you mentioned, that's such like an instinctive thing of after a set, because that's when my appetite kicks in.
Oh yeah.
That's, you know.
Like people hung out last night after this show, just out, outside at the venue, because there was some couches out, and we just all sat there for a while.
Oh, cool.
But then everyone, like, you could see everyone kind of getting hungry and being like, we
Yeah.
can't do anything about it.
What do we do?
Yeah. I'm sure there's something. It's just no one was like going to research it, and it was getting late, and you're like,
Yeah.
I got stuff to do today.
Oh my goodness.
I had to write jokes today.
Yeah. No. Do you find your process for getting ready for a set has been different online compared to in person? Like, do you eat more before a set? Do you indulge a bit in something?
That's so interesting. I think there's a habit online to be a little lazier, because if you do spend 5 minutes taping some notes in places around your webcam, you can cheat.
Yeah.
A little bit. And also, I don't think people even mind. Like, you can see some people on a Zoom show and they're like, da 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 da, and then they go, and then they come back and da da da. You're like, yeah, they're looking at some sheet of paper. And they're like, who cares? Who really, like, it's, does it impact a laugh that they get? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like at a real show, people often just look into space when they're holding a laugh and stuff.
Yep.
And so kind of just doing like a Zoom joke and then just being like, but really you're looking at a sheet of paper on the wall.
Taped to your ceiling.
And sometimes when I stand, I think when I prepare for a Zoom show, it feels more like a regular show if I'm going to stand for the Zoom show.
Yeah.
Which I do sometimes just to kind of keep, especially now that I've done a little bit more outside. It feels like a real set.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to be I remember, like, it's funny. I don't know how memory works, but like when I'm practicing jokes, if I do it here standing up, holding the mic, it gets in my brain better than if I just were to do it sitting sitting down, or there's just something about standing. I don't like, it's weird.
There is, like, even for the Zoom shows, I've been doing the same thing. Like, I recite all my stuff in my bathroom. I've got my timer in another room. Then I come back, check the timer, see how I did. But I also handwrite all my jokes still. I don't do anything into my phone, because typing it into an Excel spreadsheet does not help my brain.
Well, I handwrite, I got stacks of the notebooks and stuff. You probably can't see it. Stacks of the notebooks and stuff. And I handwrite like a lot of the free writing and the ideas, but once it gets down into like, oh, that's now a joke, then I type it, because I want to see it on screen and be like, okay. Something about and I don't type it like paragraphs. I type it like each clause of a sentence almost is a different line, and then that helps me see where there's all these words I don't need. And then I can trim it down. And then what I actually do is I have the mic and the mic stand like against the other wall.
Yeah.
And then I'll read it, think like, okay, I know it. And then I'll walk to the other side of the room where I can't see the screen, and I'll like, hey, it's great to be here. And then I'll tell the joke.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'll forget something, and then I'll walk back to the screen, and then I'll go do it again. And it'll take a few times, and I'll never forget the same part twice. I'll just keep forgetting different parts of it until I get it right.
Yeah.
And then I'll start thinking of better wording. And I'll just just talk about it into the mic, and like maybe a tag will come out, or I'll change the wording, or something will happen.
Yeah. What are your go-to comfort foods? For me, it's been like, I've talked about it in my stand-up on occasion, but like mac and cheese, or KD as we call it. That's like
Kraft dinner.
Dinner. That's a thing. Oh, I love my KD.
For me, it's like mostly breakfast foods. Like eggs and bacon or pancakes or something.
Yeah.
Would be definitely. And then just like a burger and fries.
Yeah.
Makes me feel pretty much better about anything.
You can't go wrong with a good burger and fries. You really, really can. I just spent the past hour watching a Food Network show about burgers and fries. And this one burger, there was like pickles in it, and avocado and peanut butter and bacon.
Peanut butter, that's interesting. Everything sounded good until you get to peanut butter. I do love peanut butter, but I've never had it. I don't think I've had it on a burger.
Would you put peanut butter with avocado?
Well, I've probably had like a smoothie that had both of them in it.
Fair. Yeah,
and
that's
maybe
true.
maybe it's like the peanut butter masks because the avocado I feel like that you put in because it's like it's healthy fat and it doesn't like it creates some texture and it doesn't like really have a taste exactly. And then you put a little peanut butter in and it probably masks the avocado.
Yeah.
I'm just making stuff up at this point.
I feel like that's some good logic.
But it feels like it would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Are you a breakfast for dinner kind of guy?
Oh,
Do you switch that up?
I mean, I don't think it's like super healthy, but like if it was like I liked it, like yeah. I'd much breakfast food is my favorite for sure.
It's so good. It is so good. Is there a classic breakfast that you make for yourself on the weekend?
No.
No.
I mean, I just like a few fried eggs and some turkey bacon or something.
That's all right.
I mean, it's not. That's nothing special.
That's pretty good. Turkey bacon sounds fancy.
But like going out to like, because the New York thing, like, you don't cook. I used to live across from one of these like bodega / deli things, and like every morning on the weekend, you go over and I'd get like an egg and cheese with some ketchup and on a roll, and some chips, some potato chips, and that's and a big coffee, and that's breakfast, and it's the best.
New York in about a year now, and I honestly don't know when I'll be going back.
When will anyone? We're halfway through. That's my prediction. We're halfway through. Next, it'll be in March, ironically, when things start to feel better, I think.
I hope so.
Or when like the fear's gone, because it's been better for a while in terms of like the number of deaths and the rate of death and hospitalizations and stuff. Yeah. But now it's ticking up a bit, and there's still like the fear's coming back.
Yeah, and
a lot of fear mongering.
Oh, a ton.
Even the headlines, they'll be like, in New York, would be like, there's a spike in COVID cases, and I look at the numbers every day and put them into a little spreadsheet as I want to do, and like I'm like, there's a spike in one neighborhood, and it's all because it's a Hasidic Jewish neighborhood where they don't take any precautions, and they just had the 2 big Jewish holidays. So that's what that is. It's so easy that's what that is. And also like going from, 300 positives a day to 500 or 600, they're like, it doubled. I'm like, yeah, but it was like 15,000 at one point. Like it's still so low compared, but it's a great headline and it scares people. But maybe that's good because then that's how you keep people compliant is you scare them. But then there's all these people running around scared, and that's not good for mental health and stuff.
Yeah, which I would be one of those people.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely a bit nervy. And Toronto's operating a bit differently now than we were about a month ago. With, more comics getting sick. So now people are a bit afraid about doing shows. And
because some of the clubs opened, right, at limited capacity. Yes. And people got sick from that?
Yeah, there have been about 3 or 4 comics in the past 2 weeks who have gotten ill. And then you kind of have to do I was at a show with this person. Were they at that show? And then like that.
So not just tested positive, but actually got symptoms.
Yeah. And so it's kind of a little bit more like, Then
the question is like, did they get it at the show or did they bring it to the show?
Exactly.
Because I love comics. Some of my best friends right now are comics, but also some of the dirtiest, most disgusting people I know.
Oh my God. That mic. Like pre-COVID, before people were wiping down the mics or putting the mic covers on it for our safety, that mic can have a smell to it.
Well, look, like the people should be wiping down mics with like alcohol swabs anyway. Or like, the show last night, we just had multiple mics and multiple lines into the amp. So you could just swap it out. And then you also just wiped it down between every comic. It's not, but that's why like I'm way more comfortable doing a show than an open mic.
Absolutely.
Because the comics are like at a show, like a professional comic who's been on TV and stuff. If you're on a show with someone like that, they're probably a pretty decently organized, clean person. Maybe not, but like they're light years ahead of some of these open mic creatures.
The open mic is a different beast, and I think for what Zoom has brought into my world, I think I'll be doing more open mics in this format.
This is fine. It's totally fine.
other than in person.
Like to travel an hour, wait an hour to do 5 minutes, which when you get there, they cut it to 4.5 because there's too many people. And then no one pays attention because they're all on their phones.
Yeah.
And you tell some, joke they don't understand because they're all like 22 and just want to play video games. You're like, so I like that, and I could have done like 3 Zoom mics in that time.
Exactly.
And
as a Canadian now in the States, now maybe it's too much time has passed for this to have anything, but what the hell is with American Smarties? I just need to know. Those are
okay. So I know Canadian Smarties, and I like them. I prefer them to M&Ms, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know what American Smarties are.
They are what we call here in Canada rockets.
I don't know what a rocket is.
Okay, so it's a little. I wish I had some here, but I don't. They're a little like sugar disc. It's like a little disc of sugar. They can be.
Oh, with the white. Is it chocolate with the white?
Yeah, and they come in a tube. No, yeah, like not the biggest candy, maybe about yay big. Like,
but is it chocolate with sugar on top, basically?
I don't believe they make. Or you may be thinking of Nico wafers.
No, okay. Anyway,
those aren't those. But no, they're little, like they almost look like a Rolaids or something. They're like really tiny. They come in a little pack, but it gets me so angry when I hear folks talk about Smarties. I'm like, Smarties are great.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing.
Completely. They're candy covered chocolate. Did you eat your red ones last? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I do remember. I don't know that I did, but I just shoveled them by the handful. So I don't think I was discerning in terms of the color.
Yeah.
But
did I? I don't think I ever really, I may have when that commercial came out and the jingle got in my head and I was like, oh, maybe I will. Maybe I will try to. But there's like certain candies that I really crave when I'm in the States and I'll have to bring to friends or family, like Coffee Crisp.
Coffee Crisp was great.
Oh,
the thing I miss the most. I wonder, do they still make cherry blossoms?
Ooh, I have not seen a cherry blossom in a long time.
Those were my favorite.
Those are good.
Those little, I can still picture those little yellow boxes.
Yeah.
The cherry blossom in it.
I'm going to have to look and see if I can find some cherry blossoms. Yeah, that and like Turkish Delight was a big one when I was a kid.
Yeah, same here. That was good. But Coffee Crisp was great.
Oh my gosh. Does that exist anywhere in the States?
I've never seen it.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite. What's a favorite candy bar? An American candy bar that you had?
I don't eat candy bars that often. Like for me, if I was going to have one, I would just probably get some sort of like milk chocolate with almonds in it.
That's good.
That'd be my like go-to. But if it had to be like one of those sort of commercial chocolate candy bar type things, like I haven't had one in years, but like Snickers or something, Snickers, Twix, like whatever.
Twix. I've mentioned this on the show before. And speaking of podcasts, it was listening to Conan O'Brien's podcast that if you take a Twix bar and you put it in your coffee as a stir stick, it melts and then flavors the coffee. It's genius.
What happens to the cookie part?
It just crumbles, and then you eat it as you stir, and then you get this nice chocolatey coffee cookie.
That's an interesting.
It's
I like
so
that
good.
idea.
It's so good.
I could.
Wouldn't work with a Snickers or like a Milky Way.
Well, those are the too big. You look like a freaking clown with a Snickers trying to.
What are you doing?
You gotta get your whole body into it. It's such a big candy bar.
Becomes a workout.
I'm also always been a big fan of like the Reese's peanut butter cup. I mean, you can't go wrong there.
So good. And I am somebody who, I think it's been about 10 years now. I grew out of my nut allergy.
Oh, wow.
So there was
I didn't know that happened. That's interesting.
Apparently it's not supposed to, but I've also had chicken pox twice, which also isn't supposed to be a thing. I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe it's because I'm Latvian and we're magical.
It's possible.
I have no idea. I have no idea. So it was like 10 years ago that I discovered how life-changing a Reese's peanut butter cup is.
Sometimes I'll just take like chocolate chips for like baking chocolate chips, and I'll just
Yeah.
dump them in a peanut butter container and then just eat it with a spoon. Like if I've got nothing else in the house, in the apartment, and I just need it, and I have those two things, I'll just take a handful, and then I'll just eat. I'll eat until all the chocolate chips are gone, and then I'll put the peanut butter away.
Yeah,
that's got to be a terrible thing. Please edit that out. I don't want the world to know. I'm just kidding.
I'm keeping that in. But because you've confessed to that, I will confess to the fact that I took frosting, a jar of Betty Crocker frosting out of my fridge the other day, and I added frozen fruit, thinking I've made a healthy treat. That was sad. It was a spoon, a Betty Crocker frosting container, and some frozen pomegranates.
That's what's funny about like the quarantine, right? Because when you in the before times, if you're a pretty healthy person, every once in a while you have a shitty day and you're like, screw it, I'm gonna buy a candy bar, I'm gonna, and I'm gonna eat a burger and fries and onion rings and then have a Snickers bar for dessert, and I don't care because I had a shitty week or whatever. And then you all of a sudden you go like where you have like 120 shitty days in a row. And you're just like, oh no.
I got stood up for a Zoom pizza date. He never ended up calling at the time, and I never heard from him again. And I tweeted that I had gotten stood up for this pizza date, and I was going to order Domino's. And then Domino's tweeted me back and said, the pizza's on us.
That's good. That's great on them.
Thank you,
that's
Domino's.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Who's the funniest person in your family?
Ooh.
Where do you think you got?
I mean, probably me. I don't.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't think anyone else is a real jokey jokester. I think I think that they all have senses of humor.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it. Well, and it's interesting. I don't know if they spent like if my dad or brother spent the time trying to figure out how you structure a joke if they'd be funny or not. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like my dad would do well at an open mic. My dad's a pretty good like entertainer guy, like getting the drinks ready, getting the food ready, telling a story. I feel like my dad would be good at a mic.
Well, there's a difference between like someone where you think like, oh, if I just took them to a mic and made them do 5 minutes, they would do okay. Yeah. Versus if I told them and gave them a month to prepare, who would do well? Yeah. Some people like the person was like, I'm going to do the research, I'm going to watch them, and I'm going to write, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to work really hard, and it may or may not go well, but that someone that takes that approach versus someone that's just like, I'll just wing it. Yeah, how hard could it be? Sure. All you do is talk. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, no, totally. I heard someone on TV today talk about how they think Donald Trump would do well at stand-up comedy, that he's kind of got that sense of humor, but that thing about him that's a bit quirky, and he might do really well at like the open mic circuit. I was like,
if he wrote jokes, maybe. I mean, he wouldn't as himself because there's too much baggage. But if that guy like with those quirks and sort of delivery and crazy arrogant confidence just showed up at an open mic with 5 minutes of jokes, it could be pretty funny.
It could be. Yeah, I was listening to, the question came up and my immediate reaction was like, oh God, no, we wouldn't. But as the comic was talking, I was like, yeah.
Because if you think about it, someone playing a character who's like over the top confident that just says things that are wrong.
Yeah.
That's a comedic character, right? That's really funny.
Yep.
To say something just so clearly wrong with absolute certainty is hysterical.
Yeah.
What makes it not funny sometimes when he does it is because like then people die because of it.
Yes.
But like if you were just designing a character for like a TV show or something, the super confident boss that where everything they say is wrong, and then you have to try to like fix it in the background. That's a funny premise. And that's what he is.
I don't know if it's like the couple of times burgers and fries have come up in this conversation. Do you know how badly I'm craving that right now?
Well, that's what I had for lunch. So,
dude, how did you do that?
I'm stuffed, along with the chocolate milkshake.
Oh,
which I'm going to pay for later. I'm sure at some stage this afternoon I will pay for having had that. But
Oh, undoubtedly. It's like when I go get onion rings, in the moment, I enjoy that. 2 hours later, my bathroom enjoys it more.
But it's worth it. Sometimes. Not all the time, but every once in a while, it's fine. Do the crime. What is it? Do the crime, do the time.
I will say, as a former waitress, making a shake is such a pain in the ass.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, they're the worst things.
And then trying not to, and you don't want to get it all over yourself, but you're also trying to do it fast. And you're probably like, oh, I can blend it without putting the top on the blender because I'm an expert or whatever. I don't know. And
then you order it, then your table, then the next table orders it, and then
because they see it. As soon as one person sees it come out, they're like, oh,
well,
can I get one of those? And you're like, fuck.
Damn
no, we're out of milk. Sorry.
It'll be fine.